Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending the HydroChem virtual job fair event. I would like to introduce you to Christina. Christina will tell you about her company, job openings, and how to apply for those openings. Christina?
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, I guess. Yeah, let me give you a little bit of a background about HydroChem PSC, then I'll go into a couple of the job descriptions and the requirements, and hopefully get some of you in for an interview. So HydroChem and PSC are two pretty good sized companies merged together about 3 years ago. Both companies have done most of their work inside of refineries doing industrial cleaning. This group has that we're hiring for out of Robinson is one of those locations. We also have a location in Bensonville that is more of an environmental cleaning company that works for the utility companies. So the Robinson location, they're looking for technicians and CDL drivers. Their technicians is somewhat of a labor position. They tend to work pretty regular hours, have a lot of mechanical aptitude type of qualifications. Pretty much they can train anybody to do the technician position. So they accept people from all backgrounds and all, it helps if you've had some sort of position where maybe you do landscaping. That's a good one. If you've done mechanical work, that works as well. We run a lot of pumps and do vacuum type of jobs, so physical labor is part of what we do. As far as the technicians go, we're also hiring for CDL Class A or B drivers. Those positions do require that you have either at minimum the Class B. The Class A is fine as well. They like to hire people that have their hazmat and their tanker endorsements, but they will give you time to get those if needed. Any of our people who work in refineries typically have to have a TWIC card, which is a transportation workers ID card. It's not difficult to get. Sometimes it can take up to 90 days. So they do allow extra time for that as well. You can be hired on, and as long as you're passing other requirements to work inside of the refineries, then you should be fine. Our other location out of Bensonville, they hire technicians and CDL drivers, very similar type of situations. The only difference is they work mostly for utility companies. So some examples of the work they do, they may do environmental spill cleanups. Anytime transformers go out, they leak oils into the ground soil. So they will possibly have to go out to that site and dig into the soil 4 to 6 inches, load that into barrels and get it prepped for proper disposal. Then they may have to put down new soil. So we may have bags of soil that we take and maybe potentially put grass seed back in. And that's where, people who are in landscaping and some of that may be a perfect fit for this position. The other work that this team might do, it's anything from tank cleaning, vault cleaning, hydro excavation, air knifing. And I can go into each of those. The tank cleaning is somewhat self-explanatory. It's either a lot of times we're cleaning tanks for the oil fields. They may have a frac tank or something like that that needs to go through an inspection. So we will set it up, and we have typically 2 to 4 person team. Many times the driver may be the whole watch person and the technician may have to go into the tank. Sometimes they have automated equipment that they drop down and they can watch on a video and do the cleaning that way. We have or we have vacuum trucks that will suck up any of the water and anything. So the technician may be at the end of that hose on those jobs. The vaults are somewhat similar, where we do have confined space entry. You know, we're going to follow all the OSHA regulations for all of those types of jobs. So we provide training specific to those if you don't already have that. You know, we will provide those classes. We have also have a safety class that we put everyone through. It's LPS. So we're huge on safety. Back to the other positions that we do besides the tank cleaning, vault cleaning, we might do some hydro excavation and air knifing. And basically that is using pressurized air or pressurized water to dig trenches for the utility companies. That is mostly the utility side, the Bensonville group that would be doing that. They may also do utility location services using those methods. And then we do some COVID decontamination. Our customers in both sites may want their offices sprayed, their shops, their vehicles. So we do that on a regular basis. And we have locations that do that for mass transit in some areas. So, you know, wouldn't be surprised if, you know, this grew into some of that as well. But that's kind of the basics about the job. Did I cover everything, or does anyone have questions? I guess I didn't go into the benefits. Maybe I should go into the benefits. We do offer full benefits at both locations. Robinson is a union location separate from our Chicago, which is also a union location. But they have different rules, different union that they're in. So both have similar benefits. So we do offer full medical, dental, vision, life insurance, short-term, long-term disability, AD&D, 401k. We have paid vacation and holidays. After you've been there a year, you have an earned amount of vacation. Our holidays that we have are 8 paid holidays. That's going to be just the standard, you know, not like government holidays. But we do offer 2 days off at Thanksgiving, 2 days off at Christmas, and everything else is just standard holidays. As far as our health insurance, the company pays approximately 70% of our insurance premiums. So we do have very reasonable insurance premiums. We also have each of those plans have either a high deductible plan or a PPO plan, and the high deductible plan comes with a health savings account, and the PPO plan comes with a flex spending account. So that's kind of the basics on our benefits. And I think that's all I have to talk about, unless we have specific questions.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that information, Christina. And Christina, I do have some just general questions that I'd like to ask you. And before I go ahead and do so, of course, I'm going to stop and say to folks, if you do have any questions for Christina regarding any of the positions or information that she covered at HydroChem, please feel free to enter those questions into the chat and we'll get those answered for you ASAP. In the meantime, Christina, I would like to, again, switch gears to some of the questions that I do have for you. And the first question that I do have for you is, are there any sort of minimum educational requirements that folks would need to possess to apply for any of these jobs?
So we do prefer to hire people who have a high school equivalent, just because of our safety requirements. Sometimes it takes a bit to be able to pass some of the entrance into the refineries, or sometimes, you know, we have a 40-hour HAZWOPER class. They only have that, as far as I know, in an English format, and it takes a little bit to, you know, fully process that whole thing and be able to pass the final test. And so you would have to pass the test for the 40-hour HAZWOPER at either of these locations in order to take that position. So we would hire each of these people and put them into the job, pay for these classes, and then, you know, if they're unable to pass the classes, they may have the option to take that class on their own time, or they may have the option to, you know, take that and, you know, provide a certification that they have passed that class to be, you know, taken into those refineries or those other, you know, plants and so forth that we have to go into.
Understood. Thank you so much for that information, Christina. And Christina, another question that I have for you that comes up frequently is how is your organization handling COVID safety precautions? I know we're kind of on the back end of things, but nonetheless, I know there's a lot of folks that still have some concerns in regards to that. And it sounds like maybe in the facility itself, there might be some close contact or things like that that might take place.
Sure, excellent question. We do follow all of the COVID requirements based on each individual state requirements that we're in. So I believe in Illinois, they are currently stating that if you have your immunization, then you can go into sites without a mask. And that's kind of how we're approaching it based on the guidelines of the state and the CDC. So, you know, we try to observe the 6-foot social distancing in most all situations that we can. You know, our teams may have to wear respirators at times, and we provide all of our PPE equipment to make sure that everyone is staying safe. And so, you know, when we do interviews, many times, you know, the desks may, if there's an in-person interview, the desks are set, you know, so that that person is 6 foot from the interviewer. It's, you know, all of the refineries are extremely conscientious about, you know, safety, and they don't want any incidents. And so we are, I think we're pretty phenomenal at safety. And so every single employee actually in our company has the right to stop any job if they feel like something is unsafe. And so if that gives you any idea, you know, you have a coworker that's not immunized and you know that, and they tend to take off their mask all the time, you have the right to, you know, talk to a supervisor and get that resolved. So I think we're pretty good at that.
Great information. Thank you so much for that, Christina. Christina, another question that I have for you, and you might have covered it briefly during your presentation, but can you just elaborate a little bit more on what your shift structure looks like? And are there any particular shifts, if you do operate multiple, that you are seeking to hire for more than others?
So it varies by location, and I tend to try to push those questions off on the location managers. And I don't think our location manager actually joined us. So, you know, unfortunately, that's, you know, where we're at. But for the most part, when you're looking at the refineries, I believe they have pretty structured hours. And so in general, I believe they start around 7 a.m., get off around 4. Now, we do service work for them. They're open 24/7, 365 days a year. And the same thing with the utilities. We're doing service work for them. While we may have structured hours, there are times when we are called after hours, and we may have to call people to come in and do extra work, put in some overtime and so forth, you know, as needed. And so we do have some on-call work, and especially in the Bensonville with the transformers, we never know when a transformer is going to go out. So at that location in particular, what happens is we structure it so that a team, we have maybe 5 teams. So if we have one team that is, on the top of the list, then they go out to the next call. And then they're moved to the bottom of the list. And then the next call that comes in for a spill, then team number 2 may be the one who take the call. And then they're moved to the bottom of the list, et cetera. And that's how that's handled at that location. As far as extra hours that are worked on the refinery side, they try to do that on a volunteer basis. And but there are times when they have what they call turnarounds, when they work 12-hour days for as long as 60 days at a time. And of course, we're going to have people potentially working 12 days in a row and then taking a day or 2 off, and then coming back and hitting it again. So during those turnarounds, which is typically either in the spring or in the fall, and it may be, once a year, and it could be sometimes where it's every other year that they do the turnarounds. It varies by refineries. There's going to be a lot of mandatory overtime in those situations.
Understood. Thank you so much for that information, Christina. And Christina, another question that I like to ask on all my events is, how can a candidate stand out and get an interview, assuming they're qualified for the position which they are applying? Is there anything in particular maybe that you would like to highlight folks that are tuning in, maybe add to their resume, bring up during an interview, anything like that that might look favorably on them?
Yes, absolutely. If you've been in the industry, of course, that's going to be someone that they for sure want to talk to. If you have any kind of confined space entry, any OSHA classes you've had to take, if you have a 40-hour HAZWOPER, if you don't have any of that, but you have situations where you have been the leader in a safety situation, I would put that on your resume. We are all about safety in our company. And, let's say you've only done landscape work and you don't have these certifications, you're still a great candidate for us to look at. I don't care if you're just a hotel worker. If you are a good, safe, honest, hardworking person, there is major potential in our company for advancement and growth. And so, we don't necessarily, we like to see people that have some of that, but we can't always hire people who have all of these certifications. But that would definitely make you stand out, as if you do have any of these certifications already, or your TWIC card already. I would definitely have that on your resume. But if you don't have any of those, I would just find some situation where you have been in, where you've been the leader in the safety of other people. And, even if you aren't considered a lead person, but you stood up for the safety of others, that is a great little information to have on your resume.
Understood. Thank you so much for that, Christina. And Christina, you actually brought up a question that I was going to ask you, and that is, what are the opportunities for advancement at HydroChem? And are there any particular success stories that you would like to highlight, maybe for folks who will be tuning in, just to give them an idea of what the possibilities are with HydroChem?
Okay, great. Yes, and this is one of my favorite things to talk about with our company, because, we've hired so many people that I know personally, that I work with on a day-to-day basis, that have worked their way through, started out as technicians, knowing nothing about the business, and worked their way up. The levels are Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3. If you're a CDL driver operator, it may be Operator 1, Operator 2. Then either of those positions can go into a team lead role. A lot of times our team leads are promoted into account managers, which is more of the sales side, or the operation manager. It's the more of the hands-on industrial type of work leader. And then from there, we're looking at either location managers, area managers. I know many people who have been promoted into location managers, area managers, all the way up to VP positions. And I love it. I've been with the company for 11 years, and I know the majority of the people in the high level positions started out in technician roles. And so that is, it's not something you hear about every single day, but this is a type of industry that, it takes some time to get there, but definitely the opportunity is available if you're that person that's going to be the hard worker. You show up when we're needed. You don't mind learning new stuff. You enjoy working with others and, trying to take on those lead safety roles and some of that. We also have a lot of opportunity for people who like the safety side. Those positions are also really good positions. Sometimes, within our company, we have locations that do nothing but travel from one location to another. So, if we have people that hire on with us at either of these locations in Robinson or in Bensonville, and then they decide, hey, I want to move to, name a state, look on a map to see if we're there. And, if we're there, we're more than happy to allow people to, do transfers as well. So, and with growth comes vast opportunities for people to advance. And the Bensonville group, the environmental group, is in a major growth process right now. So, there are tremendous opportunities for growth in our company and advancement.
Awesome information. Thank you for sharing that, Christina. And Christina, we are kind of nearing the end of our session here. So I do want to give you one final opportunity to make any sort of summary statements, concluding remarks, highlight anything that you covered here today, or maybe include something that maybe you feel you might have left out for the folks as a takeaway.
I really don't have a whole lot else to talk about, but I do feel like HydroChem PSC is a tremendous company to work for. We try to be fair with everybody. We try our best to, teach people, our industry, and it's really a great company. If you're just starting out and you've not had a lot of other type of experience, and you want to go that direction, this is a company that you can, make up your mind that you're going to advance, and chances are you're going to advance. You make it known that, you want to grow and advance in a company. Our company is just phenomenal about advancing our workers. And so that, to me, and our safety are two of the, best things about our company.
Thank you so much for sharing all that information with us today, Christina, and thank you for taking time out of your day to share that information. Much appreciated. And for the folks that are tuning in, again, if you do have any questions for Christina, is there a particular means or way that you would suggest folks reach out to get those questions answered before we wrap it up today?
I am more than happy to take any emails. If anyone wants to contact me, my email address is just my name, Christina.Asling, A-S-L-I-N-G, and Christina's traditional spelling, Christina.Asling, A-S-L-I-N-G, at HydroChem, HydroChem, PSC.com. Happy to take emails, resumes, anything, and we'll get you set up for an interview.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Christina. As Christina stated, if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to her, and I am sure she will be prompt in her responses to you. I do want to mention that this session has been recorded and it will be uploaded to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel later this afternoon. Once it has been uploaded there, of course, you'll be able to access all of the information that was covered here today regarding the open positions that are available with HydroChem. Thank you so much again, Christina, for your time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you very much for hosting this.
Absolutely. Take care.